cousin. Vince Russo yapping. And I was over there listening to the Yap Fest, okay? And I like to read the comments because the comments give me content and stuff. So here's the question. Is the WWE back to leaning on stars instead of the NXT factory? And you know what? I'm going to say this. Vince Russo doesn't watch NXT, so I'm really not sure why he's even having an opinion on NXT roster and who's a star and who's not. Now, I did take the time in a podcast previously, and I said I could tell you what gimmick is not going to go over and who's probably going to falter when they go to the main roster. Okay, everybody can pretty much do that. Now, in terms of WWE leaning on stars, meaning the old stars, Randy Orton, CM Punk, um, who else? Seth Rollins, John Cena. He brought up Ron Killings. And the reason why I'm not going to add Ron Killings is because Ron Killings right now is in a whole different aura, era, and character. Now, if it was R-Truth, still doing the R-Truth thing, then I would have been like, yeah. Because listen, y'all already know I didn't like how he always the butt of the joke, the goof off, woo woo woo. You go all the way back 5 years to my second podcast, and I was saying Truth or Mania then. Give him a run then. Okay? The difference between R-Truth or Ron Killings and John Cena is because, let me tell y'all something that's real funny. And y'all get in the comments. Let me tell y'all something. Let's think about the Titanic for a second. Let me use this example. The Titanic. What do we notice about the Titanic, right? You got the class. It's a really more of a class issue on the boat. The poor, the foreign, they're at the bottom of the boat. The bourgeoisie, the upscale Europeans, the rich Americans are at the top of the boat. Who ain't on the boat? Black folks ain't on the boat. And if it is black people on the boat, it's a very small amount of black people. And they're probably what? Either coming off of slavery, trying to figure it out, or just completely excluded from the boat, or maybe got a servant with them, right? That's why I said slave. They were probably servants at that time. With that being said, because of the way the system is set up, sometimes it actually helps. Now, hold on, hear me out. Because John Cena, CM Punk, Seth Rollins are always leaned on white males, muscular, the usual trope, Ron Killings was used less in the wrestling capacity, giving him more longevity on his body. Tell me I'm wrong in the comments. Think about it, because I know I said a couple buzzwords, and I know, I get a lot of the people who, don't use critical thinking and don't listen to the actual podcast. And because you're not listening to the whole podcast, you're listening to speak and not to hear. Because the way the system is set up, the way all the systems are set up with exclusion, these people are battle worn and fucked up. John Cena doesn't even stand up straight. Next time you see John Cena in the ring, he is literally leaning forward. Not as bad as Kurt Angle, but he's leaning forward. Because these guys, you could not market to that historically white, middle of the road, yokel, inbred audience. And that's just what it was. Ron Killings, although he was in TNA, I mean, listen, he's always been given space to do more talking, comedic act, more character work, thus giving him more life in terms of wrestling. Ron Killings looks better than John Cena. Ron Killings looks better than CM Punk and got all his back teeth. Naomi. Vince Russo brought up Naomi and said she's been around a long time. Yes, she has been. Naomi's, 37, 38? She's been around a long time, but we didn't get this type of Naomi. Character work. This is a whole nother Naomi. She's been a heel. She's been a heel with Team Bad. She's also been a 2-time champion. One of those she had to relinquish. Okay? This ain't the same Naomi. This Naomi is probably the most interesting thing in the women's division on SmackDown right now. Argue with your mama. She would be even more interesting if they actually continued the story. Because I have Naomi Go right over to Bianca Belair's house. I think I said this before. Knock on Bianca Belair's door and say, look what I got us. Look what we got. Have Bianca melt down. Like, what? Why are you here? Can I come in? Let me talk to you. Let's talk. Let's just hash it out. I'm here. You my sis. Like, come on, let's talk. And Bianca says, okay. And then we leave them with Naomi going into Bianca's house. Okay? And then you could pan out and have Jade Cargill standing there with her hands crossed because she just saw Naomi go in Bianca's house. And then Jade Cargill say, I know you a motherfucking lie, and stomp off to the parking lot, getting that big ugly cyber dump truck she got and drive. Leave us left there because we know she about to drive over to Bianca Belair house. And continue. Creativity. Not to mention, she got the Money in the Bank briefcase. You know how much fun you can have with that? There's the Intercontinental US, the Raw Women's Champion, and the SmackDown Women's Champion, and the NXT Champion. You got 5 motherfucking championships. Now she gonna pick her one, and it's gonna be the top title, but she can fuck around with all 5 of them. Just show up. Just make your presence known. But that you have to be creative to do that. And in terms of this conversation, this is a different Naomi. That's why it works. Naomi never got to win the Money in the Bank. She's the first African American black woman to win Money in the Bank. So Vince, you're gonna have to hang that up. CM Punk, John Cena, Randy Orton, even Cody Rhodes is an old throwback. I do agree that WWE keeps bringing these old washed motherfuckers. They're about to have Goldberg come back. Goldberg just said that he exercised so hard that he done bust his shit. Goldberg damn near killed The Undertaker, and I run that match back daily because that shit is funny. All the faces The Undertaker making while Goldberg dropping him on his head, shoulders, and ass is never not gonna be funny to me. when The Undertaker did the suicide dive straight into was that Goldberg, or was that match with the Shawn Michaels? That was Shawn Michaels. When what's his name? Undertaker did the suicide dive into the cameraman and cracked his shit, and he set up and he looked like he didn't know where he was. Oh my goodness. But that match with Goldberg, they couldn't even get the moves in. Goldberg had concussed himself in the back when he banged his head on the wall coming to the ring. And then he concussed himself again in the ring when he banged his shit on the ring post. But Goldberg gonna come right back and get in the ring with Gunther, and it's gonna be a snooze fucking fest. Goldberg should get in the ring with Braun Breaker. That's who you should get Goldberg in the ring with. So they could collide right on their skulls in the middle of the goddamn ring. And then their head explode like 2 firecrackers on the 4th of July. And we all go up in celebration by what we just saw. And then everybody could get stretched out. Don't you want to see that? But again, this isn't nothing new. John Cena was supposed to give Austin Theory the rub. Austin Theory also won the Money in the Bank. And it was a complete bust. And look at Austin Theory. Is it Austin Theory's fault? What is it about Austin Theory that don't nobody want to fuck with him like that? I don't know. You tell me, cousin. I'll say this. What should be happening, like Nikki Bella versus Liv Morgan, that's gonna take place down to the women's cousin who was like, oh my God, you said woman, women's evolution pay-per-view. Nikki should be eating the pin, right? That's what you're supposed to do. When Trish Stratus comes back with her bottom teeth, she should be getting folded up by an up and coming person. Maybe what's her name? Blake Monroe. That would be a good match for Blake Monroe, aka Mariah May. Huh? Right? That's what should be happening. When you got Becky Lynch right now in the Intercontinental Champ, she's considered seasoned vet. That's what should be happening. Mother Bone should be over there fucking up the thing with the US title. And Night of Champions, you could have had Mother Gaunt versus Mother Bone again. And I would have loved looking at that because this is a different iteration. They mid-carders. They're not at the top of the card. That's what you should be doing. Old heads are supposed to come back and give the rubs. Okay? John Cena don't even rub nobody no more. John Cena is, you know what? He need to be buffed out. Okay? John Cena's real wrinkled right now. Nothing he's doing is elevating anything. He's not elevating Logan Paul. He didn't elevate who else? Anybody John Cena got in the match with right now has not been elevated. Ron Killings is elevated all on his fucking own. That's all him. Has nothing to do with John Cena. And missteps from Paul Levesque, okay? So I will agree, WWE always done that. They always do that. Y'all want to see Stone Cold. Another example of that, if you go back a ways in the catalog, when they did Rolling Out, and they asked the heads of Rolling Out, who do you want to do like an exhibition match to some hip hop music or whatever the case may be? Them motherfuckers said, we want Macho Man and we want Stone Cold and we want the Ultimate Warrior. And I'm sitting there like, do they watch wrestling? They got Bianca Belair, Montez Ford, the Street Profits, and Carmella. And I want to say Chad Gable. Wasn't he down there wrestling? That's what they got. Them people were standing there looking like, what the fuck is this? Where's the Ultimate Warrior? Whose fault is that? That's not their fault that they were sent out there to an audience that the booker did not understand, because Rolling Out ain't what you think it is. Just because it's called Rolling Out don't mean it's a hip-hop audience. Them ain't nothing but stoners, right? Ron Killings has every right to get his last run just like John Cena. There is no fucking difference. You understand? Ron Killings has every right to get his last run if Goldberg is literally injuring himself to get his old janky ass in the ring and fuck up the thing. And now he's preparing his son, because that nepotism ain't nothing to play with, to get his ass in the ring. You know who else son's in the ring? Mark Henry's son's in the ring. What's old boy name? Titus O'Neil's son's in the ring. And I saw one more person's son down to the NIL. I can't remember their names, but they're in the ring too. So I don't understand. There are stars. Everybody's like, there's no star. There are stars. And I can sit here and tell you who the star is on another podcast, because I'm going to leave it right here. And I want to tell you. I want you to tell me. I want you to tell me, what do you think about this conversation? And I'm going to catch you on the next one.